under the 2010 Constitution. The immense confidence and trust that you have placed on me today profoundly humbles and makes me proud of the same at the same time. I therefore accept with humility and pledge that I shall perform to my uttermost ability the constitutional responsibilities and the duties of the office of the Speaker of the Senate for the next 5 years with diligence and appropriate tact. Allow me with great pleasure to congratulate and salute all of you, the new senators of the Second Senate, after a well-fought battle in the just-ended general elections. Kenyans have now reposed their faith in you, in your capable hands, and doubtless have high expectations on you. I also wish to recognize my worthy opponents, Right Honorable Ekwe Ethuro, Honorable Farah Maalim, Honorable Dr. James Gesame, Mr. Ramachandra Gorashia, and Mr. Paul Ribathi for the valiant, mature, and well-fought competition. We have ably demonstrated that we can compete democratically and without rancor in a dignified race. Please feel free to consult with me and my officers at any opportune time. I also extend congratulations to our sister house, the National Assembly, and wish them every success as we begin the national duty of jointly steering our beloved country to greater heights. I cannot forget our governors, county assembly speakers, members of assemblies. I wish them all the best. Kenyans from all walks of life deserve a huge pat on the back for demonstrating to the entire world that we have a mature and vibrant democracy following the peaceful general elections. Fellow senators and dear Kenyans, permit me at this juncture to pay my singular special tribute to my predecessor, the Right Honorable David Ekwe Ethuro. He ably presided over the resurrected Senate in perhaps the most difficult times in our country's history. And indeed, it was the first Senate under the current 2010 Constitution. The first Senate was sailing in uncharted waters. None of the political leadership and senators had a clear idea what their tasks entailed. They had to learn how to swim by swimming. It was trial and error at first. However, the Speaker and his leadership team, guided by unity of purpose and the will to actualize devolution, initiated work systems, spearheaded a series of retreats, workshops, and seminars that rapidly crafted the framework of transacting and administering the Senate. As the political head, he oversaw an efficient system of service delivery by the Senate officers. He served as an executive member of the International Parliamentary Union and as the president of the Forum of the Parliaments of Member States of the International Conference on the Great Lakes region, of the Great Lake region. His handling of chamber proceedings will be hard to emulate. As the renowned American writer and political commentator Walter Lippmann wrote, and I quote, "The final test of a leader is that he leaves behind in other men and women the conviction and the will to carry on." Right Honorable Ethuro, we salute and honor you. Lastly but not the least, I appreciate and laud the clerk of the Senate and his team for making the appropriate preparations for this momentous occasion. Honorable Senators, historically, the first Senate was established in 1963 and functioned until 1966, when it was dissolved and its members joined the National Assembly. Close to 5 decades later, the Second Senate was inaugurated in March 2013 as established in the 2010 Constitution, primarily to oversee the implementation of the devolved system of governance. Devolution as a novel development model was meant to ensure balanced, etiquette, and just development in all regions of Kenya, equitable and just development in all regions of Kenya. I can submit without fear of contradiction that so far it is working, and I'm talking as somebody who has come from there. I wish to welcome and associate myself with the positive spirit exhibited and pronouncements made by the new governors to change their strategy of engagement and work more closely with the Senate, National Assembly, and the national government. In addition, their pledge and commitment to intensify the fight against corruption in their respective government is highly commendable. This will usher in a new dawn towards exercising responsible and accountable public funds management in our devolved units and in our common effort to deepen and strengthen devolution. Fellow honorable senators, the critical question is, what next for our Senate? How do we expand on the achievements of the first Senate? Fundamentally, the Senate must continue to play its constitutional mandate and role more vigorously. Just to reiterate and remind ourselves, honorable senators, the primary mandate of the Senate is to represent the counties and protect the interests of the counties and hence successful implementation of the devolution process. Honorable senators, what has been achieved so far is commendable, but we must not rest on our laurels. We must build on the foundation created and make it even better. We must initiate and enact more devolution-compliant bills, since our predecessors have identified a number of gray areas in our devolved system of governance. The Senate is duly bound to be more sensitive to the dictates and aspirations of the ordinary mwananchi. We will speak out on any subject under the sun, so long as it affects Kenyans. We will adopt a proactive approach. We will strive to make Senate to be a friend of all Kenyans, and let Senate be their sanctuary in times of distress. Let Senate be a beacon of sobriety and hope for Kenyans of all ages. On a light note, let me say that the second Senate is no longer nyumba ya wazee. The second Senate, under the 2010 Constitution, will strive to reach out and harmoniously work with the national government. The so-called supremacy wars must be a thing of the past. That is how tangible and progressive milestones will be realized by our bicameral parliament. The Holy Bible says that a divided house falls. Fellow honorable senators, I call upon honorable senators to adopt and nurture the bipartisan and collegial relationship approaches that will transform and invigorate the Senate to embrace the various political interests represented in the 12th Parliament and ensure they find their rightful place. Under the new Senate leadership, we will endeavor to ensure that the Senate work closely, strategically. The Senate work strategically will be reviewed and, if necessary, revised to embrace emerging trends of effective legislative work systems. That senators perform their constitutional and leadership responsibilities through systems that are predictable and adequately facilitated to enable them deliver efficiently and quality services. Programs and activities of the Senate are guided by the need to respond to key priorities of the counties as well as the many challenges they have to face up to. We will initiate and strengthen internal collaborative linkages, deepen existing partnerships, and engagement between the Senate, national and county government departments and agencies, regional and international development partners, as well as non-state actors to work closely and harmoniously with the devolution family. We will strive to strengthen the capabilities of the senators and their secretariats so that they constantly update their skills and expertise and ensure they acquire requisite parliamentary exposure to enable them handle complex and new frontiers of legislative and public affairs. We will also endeavor to be responsive and attuned to emergent situations and reignite the manner in which traditional legislative services are offered. Fellow Kenyans, elections come and go. Kenya must remain. It is now time to put behind our political rivalries and together focus on building the new Kenya that we will all desire. Let us jealously protect and guard devolution and our beloved country. Let us nurture in the way a parent nurtures a newborn. We do not have another Kenya to run to. Let us forge ahead and be guided by the unity of purpose. As leaders, let us be the rock upon which Kenyans find refuge and solace. I personally would not accept this seat if it was meant to polarize Kenyans. Honorable senators, in conclusion, on my part, I promise that under my stewardship, my pledge and commitment to the people is to be faithful servant and diligently discharge my duties. Finally, as one Canadian broadcaster and playwright, Lister Sinclair once wrote, "A frightened captain makes a frightened crew." I shall respect and uphold the rule of the law, legality, and nurture the culture of constitutionalism. And I shall protect and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya and always safeguard the mandate and role of the Senate. Thank you so much for electing me.